Hey, what's good, what's good, what's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We got DJ Never here.
Yo, what up?
We got DJ D Miles.
What's good, what's good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
What's good, fellas?
Yes.
What up?
So
much, man.
This is the first time we've actually recorded with all of us alone.
In a long time.
We've had literally guest after guest after guest.
LA.
Usually we try to every other week do a guest and then us, a guest and us, but we've just had so many like killer guests, come through.
Homie's been in
so
town.
it's just been back-to-back guests. But just to let y'all know, we are going to take a break, a month-long break in March. So we're not going to have any new episodes in March. We're just taking a break. We're kind of just restructuring a couple of things and just getting ready to relaunch in April. So our first episode will be the first Wednesday in April. So it's actually a good time to listen to our back catalog and listen to some of the past episodes that we had and get caught up. Y'all got a month to get caught up in everything, right?
We'll see you back April 5th.
Yeah. We'll be back April 5th, that Wednesday. And we have, and honestly, if all things go well, we're going to have an ill fucking episode for you.
With a bang.
Yeah, we're going to come out,
swinging.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, we have a bananas episode ready for you April 5th.
It's the home run.
Crazy.
You'll see.
Crazy shit.
It's gonna be hard to beat that hip hop episode that we had, but we're gonna try.
Yeah, I mean, just recently, I don't know if anyone saw, or listened to the last hip hop episode, but I mean, we had video clips that went viral.
Yeah,
like I don't know, we had like over 600,000 views on one clip on Instagram. And honestly, Bootleg Kev, the last that conversation that Bootleg Kev had with Drake
not having a classic album.
Drake and J. Cole not having classic albums. I think that's around 375.
Yeah.
And TikTok's doing well. Like, I think TikTok's at half.
I saw Bootleg and I was like, bro, this clip is at 6 figures. He was like, what? He was like, send me that right away. And I hit Jamie. He was like, no way. I was like, bro, like that shit was like an ill conversation, bro. Like,
I mean, like the hip hop episode, if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely fucking check it out, because I don't know, there's like all types of motherfuckers who listen to it. Like,
I mean, you go ahead and flex, bro.
Yeah.
Or like Elliot Wilson, right, from Rap Radar.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the low, like hip hop texted us. And he said that actually Jay-Z heard that.
That's crazy.
On his way to Dubai.
Yeah, he just texted us. He's like, yo, Jay heard it. And I'm like, for real? How you know? He's like, I think on his way to Dubai. Because he probably listened to it right when Beyonce was performing in Dubai.
Yeah.
She had that big performance.
Yeah.
And so Jay listened to the shit. And then he texted us like a couple days later. He's like, hey, yo, Cole listened to it.
That's crazy.
Wow, that was mind blowing.
So it's like, he said like J. Cole listened to the shit. And he actually, and this is the crazy shit, Jay-Z and J. Cole forwarded that episode to multiple people.
Yeah.
So they listened to it and then they forwarded it to multiple people.
Yeah.
So J. Cole forwarded it to Ebe, president of Dreamville Records and J. Cole's manager, who's also, MoMA's the homie.
Yeah.
He's MoMA's like little brother.
Yeah.
But Ebe tweeted it out and he listened to it and he gave us kind of props and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, that episode is crazy.
It was monumental for us.
I love that there was mad people that were hitting me up that aren't in our industry.
Yeah.
That knew about it.
That's what I mean. It just crossed over to
like I had homies that are like that are like NBA coaches.
Wow.
Like, yo, y'all on Rap Radar, bro. Like,
Shout
I was
out
like,
to-
holy shit. Like they were retweeting it.
Yeah.
So like mad athletes were seeing it. Like posts that like websites, blogs I didn't even know of were like posting it. It was insane.
Now I was getting DMs that Barstool was on Barstool.
Yeah.
Shout out to KFC, right?
KFC, our guy over there, man.
Yeah. I mean, you've been talking with KFC from Barstool.
He's been showing a lot of love. He loves the hip hop talks. He just loves the interactive between friends is just talking like hip hop shit. He enjoys that, and then he gives us a shout out on his like 2 times on his show
on Barstool. Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty nuts. So like it's kind of dope, these conversations that we're having. That it's like kind of like regular music heads and DJ music heads are talk.
It was barbershop talk.
Yeah,
basically. Barstool Sports did a whole write up on us and shit like that. So
but it's like a little bit deeper because it's like I think the great part of hip hop is that no one realized that there was this dude under the radar, behind the scenes, that was shaping the sound of Rockefeller.
Yeah.
And picking all these beats for all of these albums, for all these artists. No one knew that there was
and that's crazy that nobody knew about him.
They didn't know what he was doing and what, you know what I'm saying? So I think
like his hand in like signing Kanye West, all this shit, like they just it goes unheard of.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers don't talk.
The crazy shit is like, I was talking with somebody that like, yo, the hip hop shit was dope. You guys should talk to like more like rappers and shit. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to talk to more rappers.
I don't want to talk to rappers.
I want to talk to the dudes behind the scenes,
Producers,
Yeah.
A&Rs.
Like,
Executives or people
Yeah.
responsible for the rappers' music.
I really want to talk to more motherfuckers behind the scenes who are like pushing the buttons and making the big decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk to these rappers who are just like out in the public and they're in the limelight. And
So you're not gonna get the truth from them.
I'm not gonna get the truth. Yeah, they're all gonna be like delusional to some point, right?
Yeah, the Sir Charles of the world or the hip hops of the world.
Yo, Dante Ross, if you're listening, we want you on the podcast.
Well, he gave us a shout out. He listened to the hip hop episode, and he said that was one of the best hip hop episodes he's ever heard of him being interviewed. So shout out to Dante Ross.
Dante Ross said he wants to come on when he finishes his book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's been saying that.
He said
for
that like
3 years
ago.
He's still writing that thing, huh?
He's like, yo, when I finish my book, I'll come on. When I finish my book, I'll
It's a
come on.
long ass book he's writing.
Like,
Huh?
Dante, just come on.
Just
bro.
come on, man.
Just come on.
You can
Let's
promote the
shoot
book
shit.
here.
There's been so much shit going on behind the scenes for us
Yeah.
that we just kind of like we want to regroup and take a month off. And I don't know what it is. You remember you and I were talking earlier this year? I just feel real burnt out. I don't know what it is.
Oh yeah.
I've been speaking to a lot of other motherfuckers too, like outside of my industry, and everyone's just burnt out.
My
Like
brain is fried, bro.
I can't even call it, man.
I don't know what it
Can't
is,
call it,
right?
yeah.
I it's just like everyone I know is like kind of burnt out or like just hitting a wall.
Yeah.
And they just need a break. So I was just
Yeah.
like, yo, instead I feel like this is the right time for us to take a small break and then come back.
I feel like 2022 went by so fast, but maybe it was the first year that we were really full speed since everything, right?
Well, maybe the
Because-
first year that we got back into things since the pandemic.
Yeah, because we were like into 2020 was kind of like whatever. It was like
We're just trying
25%
to get by,
capacity, trying to
baby.
figure out everything, trying to figure out our next move. 2021, we were like, okay, like are things opening? We weren't really traveling,
Transition.
right? And then last year was like we was moving, like
We're
we was
doing all-
traveling, we was gigging,
Yeah.
like we was recording, like we was really full speed, man. So I think maybe that's had something to do with it.
Nah, for sure. Then you and I were saying we're sick of traveling a
Yeah.
little
Oh, yeah.
bit.
We was talking about that the other day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've
I'm
been
just-
traveling a lot, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Something is like I'm sick of the people in airports. I'm sick of planes. No, it's like it's bad, yo. Like, yo, I was on a flight here to like I think I was leaving Vegas.
You were going to San Diego.
I was going to San Diego, and I've never had this before. They had to like wheel 2 white dudes off, 2 different white dudes, because they were cracked out. They were like fainting. I've never seen that before. I don't even know what it was. It wasn't coke because these dudes couldn't. Someone was saying it was Percocets or like some type of downers.
You say he changed colors.
No, this dude couldn't. Like he was turning blue, and then he was turning green. But I've never seen someone's face turn white and
Jesus.
then blue and then green. It was like the blood was like leaking out of his fucking soul. It was crazy.
Christ.
He was sitting right behind
shit,
me.
man.
And it was 2 dudes.
It was one dude that was sitting right behind me, and then there was another dude back.
And they was together.
And they were like, "Is there a doctor on board?" The doctor was trying to talk to him. He couldn't even talk. He's like, "I'm just damn man, shine my way." It was like his brain was melting.
God damn.
And I've been watching Last of Us. So I've been watching
There's
So,
zombie
yo,
in the plane.
I'm not fucking around. Like I was like, yo, this, and I didn't even want to look. I put it on my. I said like, yo, if some shit gonna pop off,
You're going to pop off.
I'm sitting right behind him, so
nothing
I'm
you can
gonna
do.
get sprayed. Or some spores are gonna go on me, and it's a wrap, you know. But like, yo, they wheeled this dude out, and they wheeled the other guy out, and it was just like, I'm just tired of traveling. Like, just motherfuckers. Like,
I think we're getting older and we just tired of
no,
fucking-
everybody,
Yeah.
everyone's like sick of the whole shit. Like everyone, just motherfuckers are sick of it.
I'd rather
That's why
stay home
if
and
it was
do
just me, I'd be like, yo, just fucking man up. You know, like just go through it.
Just
But
do it.
I'm telling you, like, there's multiple people telling me they're over this shit.
Yeah, man. Speaking of traveling, a couple of weeks ago, you was out of town.
Yeah.
And you was, and
motherfucker.
it was like late night. I guess you was like getting your drink on while you was working. You was
Yeah.
feeling nice, and you was like drunk tweeting.
Nah.
Yes, the infamous drunk tweeting.
What was up with that, man?
Yeah, you was really on one that day, huh? A lot of
I
emotion
wasn't even
coming
mad
out of
about that either, man. I was just like,
I mean, it wasn't like I was mad at anything, right?
No, you're
you
actually
wasn't
the
mad.
opposite.
No. You was dropping some knowledge, man.
Never text me at 2 in the morning. He's like, yo, you seen this shit? I'm like, yeah.
Let me read the tweet. Right?
Okay, pull them up.
I was like, DJs, take a moment, remember where you were last year, and think now to this year and how much you've grown. appreciate the progression, and remember the motherfuckers who helped you. You guys are blessed. Love your circle, y'all. Salud. Drunk text hashtag. Now, you know how drunk I was. If I didn't say drunk tweet, I said drunk text. Like,
Drunk text.
nah, but you know what it is I think like prior to this, I was seeing a lot of DJs just complaining and bitching about things that didn't even matter.
Yeah.
Little things.
And it's just maybe, to me, I just felt like maybe we're all kind of like, even if motherfuckers think they're not doing right or they're struggling, I feel like everyone's doing a little bit better than they were the year before.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I think the problem is no one looks at progression in a year, like in the standards of a year. They only look at progression like week to week or day to day.
Yeah.
And I think you're being too hard on yourself, because we're all allowed a bad week, a bad day, or a bad month. But what you got to do is just take a moment and look at where you were last year and be like, yo, I'm in a better place. It could be financial, it could be personal, it could be spiritually, it could be, physically. But more than likely, you're in a better place. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. And it's funny, I saw that tweet because right after, at that time, I just got off of work. I felt like I kind of had a good night.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking to myself, last year at this time, I was like totally opposite. I wasn't like in a good mood. I had just lost my parents.
Right.
My health was like really fucked up. I was over drinking. It was just like overindulging, eating a lot of fucking shit. I was just like in bad shape. But then even when I was getting doing my gigs, I wasn't like confident with what I was doing. I just felt like kind of lost because I was still trying to find my groove after the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about what I'm doing right now. I'm in better shape. I've been taking care of myself. I feel like my DJing's gotten better. And I'm just feeling myself. I just feel happy.
I feel you.
Yeah, and it's funny.
She in a mood.
After seeing that tweet, I'm just like,
she in a mood.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
She in a mood. I like it. That's your anthem this month.
What's that?
She in a mood.
The Ice Spice jar.
Ice Spice. She in a mood.
Never spice.
When
Never in the mood.
When you get out of your shower and you getting ready, just throw on that Ice Spice. She in a mood. She in a mood. Get money too. You a baddie with your baddie friend. I like it.
You're the baddie friend.
No, I'm not his baddie friend. I'm not his baddie
You're
friend.
the baddie friend.
I'm his baddie friend. You know he's killing it because he's got podcast groupies right now.
Oh, let's not call them that. I feel like let's say some supporters for the podcast.
He's got podcast fans.
Out of everybody, never gets like the.
Yeah.
We know you from the R.O.A.D podcast the most.
No. Jamie used to get a lot of.
Yeah. Jamie at first. Yeah.
But it's good that Never's getting shot.
Why is Never getting it now?
That's crazy.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Never be getting it.
This is your year, man.
This is the year.
This is your year, bro.
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah.
The summer of never.
The summer of never.
Summer of George from Seinfeld. The summer of never.
Some of never. But just like you said, when you look at your progression over the year, over the last year, and I tell this to Jamie a lot.
All the time.
I said like, yo, because he'll tell me, he's like, yo, man, this is fucked up. This is fucked up.
You
This
get
is fucked up.
frustration.
And I say like, yo, take a second. I say, where were you last year?
Yeah.
And I said, were you in a worse place? And he's usually like, yeah. I said, what have you accomplished since a year? And he'll name, well, I did this, and now I have this. And I'm like, yo, fam, that's amazing. Now look back when you first moved to Vegas. What did you have? And I'm like, yo, look at the past, 5 years?
Yeah.
I'm like, look at what you did in 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I feel like, even if you're having a good week, you go on social media and then someone fuckers just having a better week.
Yeah.
You know? some happen, like D-Nice posted some shit. I don't know.
D-Nice got a new
someone's
top hat.
killing it, and then you just feel like, damn, man, like, my shit ain't
I
really
could
popping
do
like
better.
that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what DJs are doing. They're really looking at what other motherfuckers are doing too much. Just focus on you and what the fuck you doing. And you know what I'm saying? I was talking to this one DJ from New York, young DJ, really good. He's just kind of popping off. And, he sent me an edit and it was a dope edit. And we were kind of talking about, maybe you could like fix this or like change the drums on this shit. And he's like, yeah, I've been meaning to learn that shit. But, to be honest, like, I haven't gotten around to it. And I said like, well, like, why don't you try to learn some shit? Like go on YouTube or hire a tutor for like, Ableton or whatever. and just start learning the shit. I'm like, yo, just do little by little. And I feel like he hears these editors and he's like, man, they're so far ahead.
Yeah, the finished product.
Right? These editors and these producers are so far ahead. Like, how could I even catch up? I'm just going to keep my shit simple as possible. And I'm like, nah, like, I'm telling you, from what I'm hearing and from what you're telling me, you have the ideas.
Yeah.
So if you work with somebody that could teach you some of these tools and teach you some of these, like, teach you the craft behind, like, kind of just production and shit, like, every week you'll get better at the shit.
Yeah.
And it's just like after 6 months, you'll be like way ahead than you were before. And after a year, you'll be like miles ahead.
Yeah.
But you just got to pull the trigger and do it. And I'm like, from what I'm hearing, you got the ideas.
Yeah.
And all you're missing is like the technique. And if it comes down to learning the technique, like you have some extra dough. You're telling me you can't spare like 100 to 200 to 300 a month for tutoring lessons or whatever to like perfect your craft.
Yeah.
And he was like energized. He was like, no, you're right. Like I could. And I was like, if this is something you want to take seriously, then do it now. But if, you know, like, but if you're telling yourself this for like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you're not doing nothing, then you got to ask yourself, who's fucking you up? Who's holding you back, right?
Yeah.
So, and he was energized. He was just like, yo, like, I'm going to get to it. And then, yo, like, that shit inspired me. Like, after he got energized, I got energized. I was like, yo, I've been meaning to do this. I gotta get started on this. Let me get started on this and push ahead, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like if motherfuckers focus on themselves and realize that they can do this shit, but if they give themselves time, like give yourself a year, give yourself 6 months, you know what I'm saying? And then I just feel like they shouldn't be so hard on themselves. And then like take that energy and just like blast everybody on Twitter. It's like, fuck the world. It's like, nah, like be grateful for what you have and see what you want. And then like start taking steps to get it, but give yourself time.
Yeah.
You know?
Because everyone loves that end result, right? Like it's hard to like see where you at, see where someone else is at, and try to like get that gap in between, right?
Yeah, just skip to the end.
But also it's like I talk to these like DJs and these editors, and like some of them help each other out, but some of them just like, yo, like they're alone. And he sent me this shit and everyone said, yo, it's dope. And I was literally the only one that said like, hey, like what about this section here?
There's no critique to it.
There's no critique, you know?
Yeah.
Like no one's being honest about shit. And there's a way to be respectful and honest.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And that's the thing with me. Like sometimes I'm too honest about shit, but what I heard was so good, but I was just like, this part isn't working. So, you know, it's just one of those things where it's like build a circle of motherfuckers that you can actually work with and be critiqued.
Yeah.
Cause I mean, there are times when, you know, you guys tell me when I'm wrong, hopefully. Well, I'm just not usually wrong, but
What? Impossible. You're always right, man.
no, but you guys put me in check, and I'm sure I put you guys in check. You know, every chance I can get.
Just every chance.
Maybe overly put you in check or something.
Every
you know,
day.
every chance. But that's why I said like in that tweet, like appreciate your circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
You know what I'm saying? And like be grateful for like the people who you look out for and who look out for you.
Yeah. Basically, water what waters you, man.
But that was my drunk tea. And the only reason why I put that out was because I was like, everywhere, like that weekend, motherfuckers were just taking me to after hours.
Yeah.
So I was in like Austin and I was hanging with Ash and CRG.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ash and CRG. Ash took me to this after hours. He took me to the strip club after hours. The shit was popping.
Yeah.
It was like, well, okay, this is how Texas do it.
Yeah.
You know
Everything
what I'm saying?
big in Texas, huh?
Yeah. I was like, yo.
Them wings is crazy.
One of the illest strip clubs I've been to was, I think, in Dallas. It was like a nightclub. And they were playing iller hip hop than the nightclubs.
Damn.
Yeah.
They were playing like hood ass shit, like gut ass shit I would never hear.
Well, Dallas and Houston known for that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've yet to go to Houston.
Same.
And you haven't?
Nah.
I heard the Houston strip club.
It's different over there,
Yeah.
man.
I went, but it was during the day, which was random as hell. Like I got picked up from the airport.
Oh no, we know
The
what
guy
you're
was
doing.
like,
Hey, you was a nasty boy.
The guy was like, yo, like they got the ill buffet. And I was like, word? In Houston strip clubs? He's like, yeah, they 24 hours got the ill buffet. So I literally had like a brunch buffet while I'm like chilling.
That sounds
like,
nasty. How was the food?
Yeah.
It was actually really good.
Nah,
I
you
had, like,
lying.
I know. I bet some 5-star shit's going on.
I had like a little omelet, fruit plate.
Okay,
like a little
omelet at a
mimosa.
strip club is kind of.
Nah, you know
That's
what?
not too bad.
You know, in Vegas, Crazy Horse 3, they have sushi. Which
Yeah, tell me that.
Which sounds
Yes.
nasty as fuck.
Yeah.
But
Like you would never, and if sushi in a strip club sounds like crazy, but it's actually legit. Like the chef from, I think Sushi.
Was it you? I remember.
Wait.
Was it Sushi Voku?
Sushi Roku.
Yeah.
I think he works there and he brings like the leftover fish.
That's crazy. Because I had it and I was like, yo, this is like really good
it's
sushi.
legit.
Yeah.
5 stars,
Crazy.
baby.
Yeah, Crazy Horse 3 has legit sushi. Like, yeah. I would eat it. I've eaten it.
Yeah.
You've eaten it.
I've eaten the sushi. Yeah. Oh yeah, but in Austin, in that strip club, after we went, Ash, I can't hang with these motherfuckers.
They can roll.
Yeah. Ash,
CRG can. Oh boy.
CRG wasn't with us, but Ash could keep going. Like
Yeah.
Ash took me to this after hours that was playing house music, and it was just a vibe, man. And I was just like, damn, this is dope. Like,
You're like, fuck sleep.
Did he have the sprinter? Did he have a sprinter?
yeah, he had the sprinter. He has this party sprinter that he takes.
Yo,
It's just
he got a custom sound system in the sprinter, like with like crazy subwoofers. Like the shit was like a
seen it,
nightclub.
Yes. CRG's
I
posted.
think he had a stripper pole in it, didn't it?
It does have a
Yeah.
stripper pole. And then the next night, I'm in Salt Lake City. I'm hanging with Bangarang after I did Sky.
Yeah.
And then, so then I was drinking, obviously, with him. We go to after hours. And I'm telling you, this after hours was like, it was like a hood after hour spot. It was all hip hop.
Yeah.
And they were playing nothing but gutter ass hip hop. So it was like the complete antithesis of what the after hours that I went to in Austin.
Yeah.
It was like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And I swear, when we were walking in, it was like the tunnel.
Yeah.
It was just like all these motherfuckers outside waiting to get in.
Wow.
And I didn't even know Salt Lake City had that many black people.
I think he might have took you to that spot. Did you have to go down the stairs?
Yo, son, I didn't realize there were that many black people in
Yeah.
Salt Lake City. It was like, I'm not saying it was all black, but it was predominantly black.
No, the last
Yeah,
time I was
no.
out there, I spoke with the cab driver and I asked him, I was like, yo, it was a black dude. And I was like, yo, is there a lot of black people out here?
How many is there of us?
And he was like, yo, it's a lot of us out here, man.
I was like-
He was like, you'd be surprised.
He did the Wakanda sign after that, huh?
Yo, like we went up to the door. I was like, yo, there's no way we're gonna get in, right? Bangarang had like one of the managers come out. He got us. We walked through it was
Come
like,
on, bro. You
we
question
walked through the
Bangarang?
crowd. We went inside, and it's like we went in. I was like, I don't know. Someone just gave me a blunt, and I just smoked.
Someone just gave you the blunt.
Just a blunt just magically appeared in the cipher. I felt like when Nas walks in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it felt when I
Like
was
their
walking.
faces
in.
was glowing.
Yeah, it's glowing. And, and it was like everything was in slow motion. Someone hands me a blunt, and I'm just like that. And we're taking shots.
Back to Life was playing in the background.
Yeah.
The
Had
acapella
the strobe
version.
lights going.
It was crazy. And the whole time I'm like, this is Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? Like no one even takes me to this shit in New York like this.
Yeah.
So we go in, and then Banger's is like, nah, we gonna go in the back. We go in the back, and there's a fucking kitchen in the back, like a commercial kitchen. And there's this lady making soul food.
Dude, that's crazy though, man.
Yeah.
Like real soul food. Like real.
somebody's mom out
like
there?
greens.
Like this is like
macaroni
2:33 in the morning,
Yes.
Yams. Yeah, she had
Fresh.
had the yams.
Yams.
Mac and cheese.
Wow.
mac and
man.
cheese. It was like, and it was $20 a plate.
That's a good fucking
good
meal.
plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, it's like 3 of us. I'm like, yo, 3 plates, and I tipped it $20.
Yeah.
And then it was insane. And she's just like, when you meet the chef, and she just looked like she lives for this. She just
Yeah.
loves to
Just
cook
the moment.
and like feed motherfuckers, right?
Yeah.
And it was just, and
I'm just picturing Big Mama in the kitchen.
she was actually pretty she was pretty petite and fit and whatever. But I'm in this moment, I just felt a lot of love. So I was like, wow, like I'm in Salt Lake. I'm at a gutter hip hop spot. They're playing like Finito. They're playing like Chief Keef. They're playing like hood ass shit. And everyone's like singing along. And I'm eating soul food. I'm with Bangarang. I'm talking with strangers. We're just talking about bullshit.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yo, this is beautiful.
Like life is good.
Life is good, and that's when that tweet went out.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, yo, I'm just grateful to be like traveling as much as we hate traveling right now, but like I'm just grateful to be in this situation.
Well, working in general.
Yeah. It's just like eating soul food. It was just like I was in a good place.
You said, hold my plate. I got to tweet real quick.
I know. Well, it's probably when I got home, back to my room and I saw all this shit. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but I saw all this shit, and it's just disappointing, man. Like, I don't want DJs. I feel like people get in this routine with social media of how they interact. And they think this is the only way I can interact with social media. And it's like, yo, like change that narrative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like stop trying to play the victim. You know what I mean? Like
it's so easy when you see other people really killing it and you feel like you're not there.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone
victimizing yourself a little bit, like downing yourself, like, well, why am I not doing this? But like we were saying, it's all steps, man. Like you told the young DJ producer, like,
yeah.
One of my favorite quotes was like Kobe Bryant years ago, but it always pops up on my feed for whatever reason, and he talks about getting better every day. And like for him, he wasn't like this phenom athlete, but he would. You know, if he would start 2 hours a day, then he'll make it 3 hours a day working out. And then, you know, doing it over years of time, he got better. It wasn't just some quantum leap or he just got good all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? But when you look back and you climb that mountain, it's because you took those steps to climb the mountain. You don't just jump on the fucking top of the mountain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing is, the tough shit about Kobe is that, like, no one really liked him, though, right?
No. They thought he was an asshole.
We loved him, bro.
LA loved him.
But see, like at the time, right? Everyone was like, he's the biggest asshole.
Yeah.
But like, you know, since he passed, everyone's like
sentimental about it.
Sentimental about it.
We
right?
love him. We miss him.
Yo, some of the shit I used to hear motherfuckers say about Kobe
He was to himself.
was really fucked up.
Yeah. I mean, half of LA didn't like him because they felt like he drove Shaq out of town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
but
really?
he was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, so like the 17, 18, 19.
But he kind of did run Shaq out of
Yeah,
town,
I mean,
right?
they had their beef, man. But you know, the 40-year-old Kobe had a different perspective, and he's probably looking back and reminiscing on all these things and saw what it took for him to get to those levels.
Yeah,
you know, and it wasn't just like he was just a phenom. Like he worked for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And you know, for us, like we got to do the same shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think like let's change how we interact with social media. I think it's just like it's been this one way. You know, it's like DJ Twitter is so miserable. And I feel like there's this one way of interacting, and why can't we change the shit? You know what I mean? It's just like we control like the content we create.
Right.
So like I feel like motherfuckers don't realize you're creating this content on your page.
Right.
So whatever this bitchy, complaining attitude is, there's literally a log of you bitching and being a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like you're creating this log and this representation of yourself being a miserable fuck.
Yeah.
So like, why don't we change that narrative?
And then when people actually meet you, that's the expectation they have of you.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, that's not me. Well, what do you expect from me? Like, I'm totally different in real life. Yeah, but like, how do I know that shit?
Yeah.
Because like, and then the question is this, like, are you really this other person in real life? Or which is the real you?
Right. Because all I have to go off of is this reference of you being miserable.
Right. So maybe like, you know, maybe your approach to social media is, why don't I practice not going into this negative space and sharing it with everyone? And maybe let me handle that shit on my own or with a therapist. And let me showcase different aspects of my talent, my craft, and my motivation and inspiration on my fucking Twitter feed.
Yeah.
That not only helps myself, but helps other motherfuckers.
You know what's crazy? I was talking to a few bookers actually in the past couple of years, and I always be like, yo, why don't you hire this DJ? Why don't you book this DJ? And they're like, I don't know, bro. Social media makes me kind of iffy, and it's kind of a risk factor. You don't know who you're going to get or what you're going to get with some of
Yo, that's
people.
why I'm saying, like, yo, you don't realize these motherfuckers, there's been a couple DJs that I had to, like I told them, they're like, yo, we want to book this DJ, da-da-da-da, but they're on social media crazy. And I'm like, no, that's not really them.
Right.
Yeah,
And I had to defend them and shit. But in the end, it's like, yo, you don't.
And how many times do we like talk about people that get booked just off the strength of being likable or being personable? You know, and that's a reflection of their social media as well. Maybe they know how to like, you know, present themselves on social media that comes off to the bookers like, oh, that seems like a likable guy.
Yeah.
Like he might be good for the club. We know he's not an asshole. He's like he may not even have the greatest skills, but he's just a likable dude.
I think you got to find like, you know, a balance of just, you know, like being likable and not being a dick rider. That's
A happy medium.
you know,
That's the
yeah. Just tread water, like, you know, like it's good to be likable, but like when you start getting to dick ride, you know, like when you dick riding like a motherfucker, then it's like, all right,
The difference between
you need you pull this, strain it back a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Get off the dick for a bit. Get off the dick for a bit.
Yeah, it's funny. We talk about Twitter. I saw somebody tweet something, and it kind of like, I know this is exactly what bothered me. This is one of the things that bothered.
The floor is yours. Go ahead, buddy.
So DJ tweeted this out. He said, any open format DJ can play straight house for hours, but now all house DJs can play open format for hours.
That's a false statement.
And Tondo, I love Tondo.
That's Tondo.
He said respectfully, no. DJing house is a totally different thing. I highly doubt that most could play a set of the same caliber as a working house DJ. There's records that you guys just won't know, you know? And that's 100% true. So then everyone was kind of chiming in. And I think there's this ignorance, right, that open format DJs have with house music and EDM.
Yes.
I think there's like an ignorance on how to DJ house and then how DJs like drop EDM songs in the middle of their open format sets. You know, basically we can say it's basically like a hip hop way of playing house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And we can all agree that actual DJs who play house and play EDM professionally, right? They're DJing a completely different way than open format.
100%.
And it's just like, if you don't get it, you actually don't get the elegance of how it is to DJ house.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I responded to this and I said I completely agree with Tondo, right? Playing house in an open format set, especially now, is so brash and abrasive. There's an elegance and subtlety to playing house, not EDM, effectively, and having good taste in house is way more important than in open format. I think 80% of all open format DJs have horrendous taste. I just think
80%?
Yeah. So wait, do you guys agree with me or you don't agree with me?
About the 80%?
Yes.
I think 80% is.
I mean, I'm not all.
That's very bold statement.
That's a strong,
I can
that's a
see
strong
it,
number, 80%.
but I think that's a vast majority
I'm like, I wouldn't. Yeah.
that have horrendous taste.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a vast majority.
You think so?
I think there's elements to that are true,
Yeah.
especially in big rooms.
And what percentage would you guys say? Because I was going to say
like-
75.
I was gonna
but
say like
it's not far off from 80.
60.
I would say
60, 70%.
65.
I mean, that's not far from 80 though. It's
I think,
pretty-
but 80 is 8 out of 10. I'm
Yeah.
thinking like 6 out of 10.
Well, I would say this. How many DJs in open format, right, have good taste and actually are tastemakers and are like playing records that like you would never think to play and making them work and then like making those records the next anthems?
Handful.
A handful.
Yeah.
And that's the 20% I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Everyone else is following that lead. There's not a lot of open format DJs that are leading in that way. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
why I say there's 80%. Especially, there's a lot of DJs that are hearing other DJs, copying what they do, you know, watching boiler room sets, watching Instagram 3-style sets, watching routines, looking at IG story recap songs and doing all of this shit. And they're following the lead of everyone. They're going on playlists. They're doing all of that shit. But these DJs are not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, leading the way in taste and what to play.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that's 80%. In a house set, right? When you're DJing house, it's really about the DJ displaying their tastes and their production, right? Their remixes and they're being creative. But the way they're mixing these songs is so subtle. Especially if you go back and you listen to like Eric Morillo.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like, dude, like the way Eric Morillo used to DJ, he would loop a bass line from one record, and then he would double it up with a drum from another record. And he'd have 2 CDJs looping. And then he'd loop the beginning vocals a cappella of another record. And he creates a song and then he lets the fucking a cappella run. And then he lets the bass line run an extra 2 bars and just loops it for 4 or 6 bars or 8 bars. And then it's just like this, he's like literally producing live and it's flawless.
And he'll do this for hours.
He'll do this for hours, like 6 to 8 hours, creating new music live.
Yeah.
Whereas like an open format DJ is like, if you're playing something with a Fat Man Scoop a cappella, you know what I'm saying? And you're just playing this remix after remix and edit after edit, you're not doing shit. And it's like, you know what I mean? You're not playing a house set. That's not a house set. You're not like doing anything musical. You're doing like paint by numbers.
Yeah.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of open format DJs DJ like that.
Yeah.
They paint by numbers. You know what I'm saying? They're not putting their fucking ass on the line and taking risks and depending on their taste in music for like 2-hour sets.
Yeah.
You know, like if you know, I'm a whore myself. So if I'm playing for myself or if I'm playing for my taste only, that might only be 15 minutes out of a 2-hour set.
Yeah.
If that.
If that.
Well, I think
but I'm learning to do like 30 minutes. I'm learning to like input myself a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I am really just depending on reading a crowd.
Yeah.
Where house DJs, I feel like they're really, you know, they are reading a crowd, but they're really, really displaying their taste in music. They're not trying to just play the known edit or the known remix that everyone wants to hear.
But you also got to think that crowd that's come to hear the house DJ, they know what they get. They know what they expect to hear because they know the DJ.
Right.
Yeah.
And they know
But
his
that
style.
doesn't happen overnight.
Oh,
That
no, of course not. It takes, yeah.
It takes years and years of doing that.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why they built that crowd,
Yeah.
right?
They built that following.
Whereas an open format DJ is not doing that. You know, they're working for a club.
Yeah.
You know, and they're really kind of just like, they're trying to just play whatever they can to keep the crowd going and to make the club money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's two different focuses.
And that's what I was
And
going to say.
each focus should be respected and applauded.
In its own
Yeah,
way,
definitely.
Because
man.
a house DJ definitely couldn't do an open format room like that.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
It's very soul sucking. It's very servicing, right?
Yeah.
There's an ego involved, but the ego is to like, how can I please this room into my best abilities?
Yeah.
Right? So that should be respected. But also the open format DJ should respect the house DJ and what they've built. And that shit doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It's not about mixing two records at once. One guy said something that I thought was kind of disrespectful, but I don't think he meant to be disrespectful. I think it was just out of ignorance.
Right.
So he said, how hard is it to go on Beatport to find some tracks, then look up similar artists? You can literally stream it straight to Serato. House is by far the easiest thing to mix. It's just a groove.
One of the most crazy things I've ever heard was similar to that, where someone was like, they're all 128 to 130 BPM. You can just mix them all. And I'm like, nah, bro, it ain't that simple.
There's an art form to that shit, bro.
That's the craziest thing you could ever say.
It's funny. We were just having a conversation on like a couple of sets that we heard from certain DJs
Yeah.
who were mixing or quick mixing these songs where the energy didn't fit with one song to another.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
No, not at all.
It was like, you know what I'm saying? It was like someone playing Be Faithful into First Class and then First Class into like, I don't know, Holla Back Girl.
Yeah.
It's like the energies are completely different. And we were just like switching it. Like if you
You
went from
rearrange
First
it.
Class to like Be Faithful into Holla Back Girl, that would make more sense.
Right, because it's building energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of DJs don't really know that. That's why I said 80% of like open format DJs are really paint by numbers to me.
Dude, also a lot of open format DJs don't know how to mix. They just know how to drop the songs at the right time.
I mean, we can go into
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
I'm
We're
just-
we're
going
literally-
down
yeah.
the rabbit hole.
we're literally like, look, I don't want to shit on our peers, you know what I'm saying? Because we're all in open format.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to be kind of like aware of where you are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And house music is not about just mixing records in 128 BPM.
I got it.
No.
There's
it's
you know there's literally an art form to it.
There is.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then go out of your circle and go to a house party.
Yeah, go listen to these greats, man.
I mean, like, go listen to these house DJs, these amazing house DJs. And I'm sure you have some amazing house DJs in your city. Go listen to them and how they carry a night. And I don't mean just go prime time. Go from like beginning to end.
Yeah.
I honestly think there's a lot of DJs that don't go out ever. And I think that's the biggest fucking problem right now is y'all motherfuckers not going out. Y'all not,
Like you said before, they looking at Instagram, the stories.
Yo.
And they're taking their ideas from that. It's like,
Yo,
oh,
we
shit.
have this conversation all the time. Opening is a dead art.
Right.
I don't think anyone at this point, I'm not even going to complain about openers because I just don't think like motherfuckers care anymore. Like I don't even think it's going to exist in like 5 years.
Yeah.
The art of opening a night, I don't think it's going
You
to,
think it's gonna go just headlining one DJ across the board?
I don't know. I just don't get it.
I don't think it's gonna go back to that, man.
I don't think,
They're not clubs gonna they're not gonna let that happen.
what do you mean? Clubs
Like,
don't give a fuck. Clubs are giving a fuck less and less, man.
Yeah. As long as you're making the money and they keeping people.
We were just talking about this. They're giving a
Yeah.
fuck less.
I mean,
and
but
less.
they want that star DJ. They don't want, and that star DJ don't want to do a whole 6 hours.
I mean, they'll have one opener for that one DJ, but all in all, like the
That's
other
what I'm saying.
days,
That's
they're gonna
why,
have full
that's why they were
sets.
never dead opening DJs.
And that's gonna be a struggle for people that don't know those long sets.
And honestly, culturally, it's just different, right? With the two genres. Because with open format, the shit you got to deal with to navigate a night is completely different from what, when's the last time you heard a house set and then they had to like cut the music to do something special for a bottle presentation? That
That
doesn't
is true.
happen in a house club. You know what I'm saying?
Where
the music is pumping when the bottle's coming out, no matter what. Nothing's changing. And so like I feel like tastemaking is more acceptable in that genre.
Wait, Eric Morillo.
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen in the open format world, because we do know some dope open format DJs that are tastemakers.
Dude, I have this crazy story about Eric Morillo. And I probably said this before, but it was in like an old episodes. But I'll say it again because it's crazy.
Yes, please.
It was at
at a club out here.
It was at a Vegas club. And this is when nothing could stop me. I'm all the way up.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Fat
2016.
Joe.
Yeah.
That was the biggest song, I think, of the time. Eric Morillo was spinning this after hours, and I was there and I was watching him, and I'm like, this is insane. It was just like, this is amazing. He's fucking killing this shit. And the owner went up to him. This is like a major owner of a Las Vegas nightclub. Went up to him and said, "Look, hey, we got bottles coming out," and he's like, "Can you play that song when the bottles come out?" So then Eric Morillo turns off the monitor. So like I was kind of close to the DJ, but I was like maybe 15 feet away.
Yeah.
So when he shut it off, I could kind of hear what was going on. And he fucking yelled at the owner. He went up to his face like here. And he's like, he said something. I don't remember the exact words, but he said something to the effect like, he's like, "Who the fuck do you think I am?" He's like, "Do I look like DJ Vice?"
Damn. And not to discredit, Vice is a great DJ.
But it was his way of saying, "I'm not an open format DJ. Like you brought me here. You know what I do. Don't tell me to do open format.
You know what to
shit."
expect from me.
You've seen my work.
Yeah.
I'm an artist.
And then he just turned around and turned the monitor back up, and I was just like,
Where he yelled at the owner like that?
yeah. And I was like, fuck. And then,
God.
and at some point of the night, the owner came back to him and apologized.
Jesus.
And we never heard that song again. Like we didn't hear that song that night. But I'll never forget that shit.
Rest in peace, Eric Morillo.
Rest in peace. But that was the most insane shit and it was like, this is a big owner.
Yeah.
Like this is not.
Yeah.
I mean,
Top dog.
Some of the most insane nights I've ever experienced in Vegas was with Eric Morillo, man. So God rest his soul, because he would come in. It would usually be on a holiday weekend, like Memorial Day or Labor Day.
Yeah.
And I honestly think the sun was up by the time
He
got
used to
done
DJ these sets from like, he used to start, I don't know, like 3 or 4
like
a.m.,
3
right?
o'clock, 3, 4, yeah.
And then he would go to like 10 a.m. or
Yeah.
something, maybe till like noon or some
Like 12
shit.
o'clock, 11. Yeah.
Insane, bro.
I remember one time the sound guy, it was so early in the morning, the sound guy cut the sound off and he just kept playing with his monitor. And the crowd was just rocking with his monitor. They were like, the club was just like, yo, like it's like literally like 8 in the morning, like we gotta go.
I'm just, for me, like you gotta respect. Like the one thing that bothered me about this tweet is just like you gotta respect the DJs who are masters in their field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if not even that, respect the fact that the DJs who are like learning and devoting their time and energy to this craft.
Yeah.
Yes.
The same as you. You know, like when we were coming up, we never disrespected radio DJs.
Nah.
We never disrespected mixtape DJs. We never like talk shit about nobody.
Nobody, man.
We respected everybody. And if anything, the radio, mixtape, all of them other DJs got more fame than the working club DJ.
Everyone kind of
There was more
coexists.
known, yeah.
Yeah, they were more known. And actually, at that time, it was just like, we actually shut the fuck up when they would come in and they would try to, like, because a lot of these radio mixtape DJs at the time would try to do club sets. If anything, when these mixtape and radio DJs would come in, they would get booked sometimes. And we know they don't have a club background. And they would struggle to hold down the club. We would actually help them and look out.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
And we would have their backs and shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like that's like, we're missing a lot of that.
It's
I
like,
mean, we would
it's
hate.
Like, it's like everyone for themselves now.
Yeah, there's no unity.
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, we
man.
talk about this all the time. Yeah. I mean, don't let your hate for a genre of music or a genre that you don't pleasingly like to play, don't let that fool you and disrespect the DJs in that field, because they don't deserve that type of shit. Like, you should be, aware. Like, a 3-point shooter is not going to do what a center does, or a power forward. Like, it's different. It's different. Everybody should respect their
And
own
I'm all
lanes.
for competition, but like healthy, right? Like healthy competition. Like hearing
get
someone
inspired.
hearing
Makes
someone
you-
that's
makes
dope
you better. Makes you
and
wanna do
get
better.
inspired. But
Yeah,
I don't want. I'm not
inspirations.
going to hear someone that's dope and want to like kind of shit on.
Yeah, but
them.
shit like that just sounds like, oh, yo, he's like, these EDM DJs or house DJs are killing it. But it's like, I could do that.
yeah.
Then
You
why
know,
don't
I
you
could
do
do
it?
that. Then why aren't you doing
Yeah,
this shit?
you
You know what I mean? It's like, or just like, yo,
gotta
like
put up
why,
or shut up these days.
or like, yo, that shit got to be so easy because they just mix in 128. Then do that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do that shit.
You know, like,
See how it sounds.
See how
it works
easy
out
it
for you.
is.
yeah. I mean, it's like for me, I like, yo, there's a ton of DJs that are good. There's a ton of DJs that are bad. But it's like if you diss a whole fucking category of DJs, that's crazy to me. Like I would never fucking do that.
Yeah.
Let alone publicly do that on a Twitter. Like
you
that's-
wouldn't want them to say, "Oh yeah, all open format DJs are fucking whack." It's so easy. Anybody could do that. You don't
Or
want
they
anybody
just-
to
or
say
they
that.
just-
hot records.
Anyone can play the hits.
Or could they just lowbrow and be like, yo, all open format DJs are fucking like are just whores. They just
Yeah.
play for the crowd. And you know what, man? Like I think we are though.
Yeah, we're definitely Grand Theft Auto whores out here.
I got a question though. Do y'all know what Riz is?
Riz from New York, from the legendary.
Shit.
What?
No,
You know what Riz is?
No.
I think so. Yeah,
What is Riz?
like swag. Like
Yeah, it's like a new.
it's a new swag, right?
Oh, a new
it's
slang
not a
thing.
legendary DJ from New
Oh,
York.
okay. Yeah, I'm
It is a
thinking about-
legendary. Riz is a legendary
about the-
DJ from
yeah.
New York.
No, I'm sorry. That's not what you're meaning. Is that
It's
what
like,
you're asking?
it's like a new saying of someone got game.
Like charisma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just charisma.
So it's just Riz.
Yeah, it's like here's an example. Like, yo, the girls at this club, they be hooking up with dudes, and you don't even need Riz. It's like you don't even need to
You
be
don't need to be fresh.
right.
That's new.
not bad for an old dude that knows the latest slang.
Yeah, you got that. So it gradually came from drip.
So it's like you see me
Drip,
if you see me pick up a girl, I'll be like,
Yeah.
yo, his Riz is phenomenal. He got
Yeah.
phenomenal Riz.
Pause.
Is that a New
I'm
York?
probably
Is
saying
that a
it-
New York
I'm
thing?
probably saying it wrong.
Yeah,
too,
you
right?
he's some old head saying.
I'm like saying it in the old head way.
It's like,
What
what
is that,
did never
like
used to
some-
say cap? No cap.
Is that like a New York thing?
Where'd you hear that?
I just been hearing it around.
I've never heard Riz.
I've just been hearing it on social media.
That's social media.
Riz.
They just talk about Riz.
Got a lot of Riz.
Yeah, we
huh?
become the grown folks.
They'd be like, yo, that dude got so much money, he got no Riz, yo.
Oh, that's a cool
Wow.
statement.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he got all money and no Riz.
Like no swag. No
Yeah.
swag.
Yeah. Or he
That's
can't. Or he
crazy.
can't get shorties. It's really about just getting laid. I think. Right.
Yeah,
It's just about like.
yeah,
It's like charisma with shorties.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I was just wondering if y'all motherfuckers knew.
No,
that.
we did not know
I've
what
heard
Riz
that.
is.
Yeah, man.
You've been hanging out with Jaden the Vengeance too much.
I've been dying to like say it in something, but there's no way of conversation.
It's funny though because I remember when you found out the word mid. Oh, everything was mid after that.
Oh, I love mid. Mid is like one of those dope words.
Yeah, Cricket was
mid's gonna
overusing it. I'm like, I don't
Mid.
think that's how you use it, but
I've really grown to appreciate cap too.
Yeah.
That's cap.
Yeah.
that's cat.
You know, what's so funny. Like some of these words, it sounds. Me being older, it sounds like fucking stupid. But then I think back when I was younger, using words like, "Oh, that shit is whack." That shit sounds just as probably dumb to someone that was older than me back in the day. So you got to appreciate these new slangs that people are saying. The
What
kids
was
are
like
saying
some
that.
of the whack? Like we used to say like, yo, that dude is dumb fresh, but that
Yeah.
shit is stupid.
That's stupid.
That's
Dumb.
stupid. Like stupid was like the dopest shit.
Or fat.
Yo, man, you see
Yeah.
those new,
PHAT.
PHAT, fat. That's
you
fat.
seen those new Nike X-rays? That shit is stupid. Used to say that. What else did we say? That's hype.
Scratch out.
Hype, yo.
That's hype.
Yeah.
Hype beast.
You know what's funny? Like every city had their own slang.
Oh, 1,000.
Yeah.
Every city is like, and that was what was dope at the time, though, right?
Yeah.
Because if I heard an album from LA, I would hear all the LA slang from in that album, right?
Yeah.
You would hear
And if you
Busta.
heard like a Miami or down south, you hear all the slang from there. And then it was just like it was really like music in the 90s
yes.
was like communication. It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
before, it was like social media. You were getting like this entryway into this world.
It's almost
So,
like
like,
Morse code.
It was
different cities. Like
I
what
swear,
they
you
were
listen
saying.
to something in the Bay, you would hear hella.
Hello.
Hella,
Like E40 had all the slang. right?
Buster.
Yeah.
Like Mark.
Buster
I didn't know
Mark.
what Mark was.
Like I would listen to like Cash Money albums, and he would be like, "Oh, my old lady." I'm like, "Who? What's his old lady?"
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like that was slang for that. That was your woman.
Yeah, it's your woman.
Like, that's my old lady. You know what I mean? I'm like, what? Like shit like that, like you would never hear on the West Coast.
It's funny. Like even I remember I would like if I visited anywhere outside of New York, they would ask me about like Cuban links, like Raekwon and the Raekwon album with Ghostface.
Yeah,
They're like, yo, what are wallabies? They like keep talking about wallabies. Yeah, but they didn't know that shit.
Nah.
And they'd be like, yo, I'll be like, oh, it's Clark's. It's like shoes. They'd be like, he talk about shoes?
Yeah.
Is that what's like dying blue and gray? I'm like, yeah, he's talking about shoes and shit. They be like, yo, I didn't know that.
Yeah, LA don't know nothing about no wallabies.
I wanted to talk about this, but one of the biggest hip hop groups, and one of my favorite hip hop groups of all time, who started a lot of slang. They started so much slang, right?
Yeah.
They had like their own code language.
Yeah.
Is De La Soul. You know, I wanted to do this tribute to, you know, rest in peace, True Goy.
Yeah.
The Dove, Plug 2. The one of the most unique groups in hip hop ever. And it was De La Soul.
Yeah.
It was like they brought so much terminology. They brought Jimmy, right?
Well, that was actually, they got that from the Jungle Brothers.
Oh yeah, but it was the native tongues, right? Yeah.
But they shortened it to Jimmy.
Jimmy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was Jimmy. They started Buddy.
Yeah.
Jenny was like pussy, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Jenny was pussy. Buddy was like what? Like it was pussy. It's like a one night stand or something.
I was like a girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
They had
Plug
all
One?
these terminologies. They were so unique. They had like they called themselves Plug 1, Plug 2, Plug 3.
Yeah.
And it was like it's
And True Goy, he was named after yogurt. Like,
Yeah.
that's yogurt backwards.
yeah, his name is True Goy,
No
which
way.
is yogurt backwards.
Yeah.
Yo, they were like the most unique group at the time because they entered in 89 or something.
88.
88. And it was at that time, rap was like it was like still gold chain, leather jackets.
Dapper Dan suits.
Like
Rakim.
Yeah, wearing Troop.
Yeah.
Like fucking
gold chains,
MCM.
gold chains, gold rings.
Yeah.
MCM sweatsuits and like all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, rap was like still in this like kind of drug dealer era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where motherfuckers was like trying to look like crack dealers.
Shit.
And it's like, here came De La Soul, and they were like these hippie black
Like hip hop hippies.
hippies,
Hip-hop
but like
yeah.
nerdy, like like the nerdy kids. They're like, I feel like
psychedelic shirts.
Yeah.
Fucking gold medallions.
yeah,
That weird haircuts that had the dreads with the fade.
yeah, Afrocentric.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was almost like they weren't products of the environment. It's funny because it was like De La Soul was this alternative, this new alternative to this stereotype of how hip hop or rappers were in the 80s, kind of like the toughest dude on the block with the most gold chains, the most money. He was a womanizer. You know, he could get any girl he wanted. You know, he was infallible. He had the best cars. He had the most money. He was the coolest motherfucker on the block, the toughest motherfucker on the block. That was like the stereotype of what a rapper in hip hop was. And then you had this alternative of like De La Soul and even the native tongues in general, you know, from Jungle Brothers, De La, Tribe Called Quest, Black Sheep to Queen Latifah, Moni Love, and on and on. You had this alternative like representation of hip hop. It was educated. They spoke intelligently. They spoke consciously. They cared about social issues. There was less focus on materialistic things. You know what I mean? Like all these superficial things like money and you know, jewelry and all of this shit. But De La, out of all that, even De La Soul, out of all the native tongues, they didn't take themselves that seriously. There was this layer of humor and fun, and like these motherfuckers were like pranksters. You know, they were joking on everything. They were joking on the industry, the scene, and everything. And it was so unique, and it definitely spoke to me at that age in middle school when, you know, you just didn't take anything seriously, and you knew you weren't the toughest motherfucker on the block, and the shit they spoke about was just more real, and you related to them. They really spoke to me.
Yeah.
It was like the turning point. It was like almost what happened with rock and roll when like hair metal was like going out, like all these hair metal bands was going out, and then Nirvana was coming in.
Yeah.
And it's like this grunge band era, and that was the native tongues, and that was De La Soul.
Yeah.
Damn.
And look, like I love the Jungle Brothers, but to me, De La Soul was like
They took it to another level.
They took it to, and like Tribe took it to another level.
Yeah.
But De La, like, and I want to really big up De La, and I want to big up True Goy, because their first 6 or 5 albums are being released.
6 albums.
Their first 6 albums are being released on March 3rd.
Yes.
Yep.
And I really think, I don't know if you've ever experienced these albums, but it's like you have to listen to these albums.
Especially the first 3 albums.
First 3.
Yeah.
The first 2 definitely.
First 2 definitely, then the third one was just, like the third and fourth was just as good. I mean, they was all good.
Yeah.
But definitely the first 2 albums.
The first album, 3 Feet High and Rising, when you listen to that, the interludes, everything about that album is groundbreaking.
Nobody was doing it.
You have to think, that album came out in 88.
89.
March 3rd.
It was fucking insane. It was like the most insane shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The amount of samples they layered on top of each other, the amount of
It wasn't even just the samples. It was like the samples they was using.
Yeah.
At the time, nobody was like using. They was using like children soundtracks.
Yeah.
Fucking Hall and Notes, Steely Dan, like fucking rock and roll pop music, and nobody was doing that at the time. At that time, a lot of rappers were sampling James Brown, or big up to Breakbeat Lou. They were sampling the Ultimate Breakbeat albums.
yeah.
Majority of that. So when De La Soul came out, it was like so left field that it was just different.
That first album, 3 Feet High and Rising, is probably one of the most groundbreaking albums ever for rap, for production, for creativity.
Yeah.
I feel like that album started the interludes.
Yeah.
There were no interludes. There were no skits in albums before that.
Yeah.
So like you wouldn't have a Chronic. You know, everyone's like, oh man, the Chronic, Dr. Dre was like it was like theatric. It was like I was watching a movie. You wouldn't have that if there wasn't De La Soul.
Yeah.
Straight Outta Compton didn't have that from NWA?
No. They didn't really have it.
Not like that, man.
This was like it was like the way they put the work into the interludes was insane. I really think De La set the stage for that, and they really set the stage for that for De La Soul is Dead.
Yeah.
Because De La Soul is Dead, the way the album plays out, it's like back in the day we used to have these audiobooks. Do you remember this?
Audiobooks?
Yeah. No. So like what? Oh, man, remember this shit back in the day? Like,
yeah.
So when Star Wars came out, right? Like I was a big fan of Star Wars. Not everyone could buy the VHS tape or whatever. So you literally had an audio tape with a book of photos.
I remember those.
And you would play the audio tape, and the audio tape would kind of tell the story of the movie, and you'd like read it. But they would have this thing like bing, turn the page. Yeah. So whenever you heard that
now. I remember that now.
It'd be like bing, turn the page. So De La Soul did that shit with their second album, and they had a whole cartoon and a comic book inside, so that you would have to turn the page. It was like so groundbreaking. And it was next level.
Out of the box, yeah.
Out the box. The production with Prince Paul was out the box.
Dude, I got a great De La Soul story.
Yeah.
The first time I ever seen him perform live in concert, it was in '88 at Studio 54. The only single they had at the time was Plug Tuning, which is big in New York. So when they got on stage, nobody knew what they looked like because they never did a video. They didn't have an album out, so nobody knew what they looked like.
Was it getting played on the radio?
Big time, all the time, yeah. It was like a big song in New York.
Plug Tuning.
Yeah. So when they get on stage, everybody knew the song, and that was it. So when they get on stage, everybody was like shocked because they came on stage wearing all these paisley shirts, fucking Afrocentric bags, weird haircuts like dreads with the fade. And that was like so different. So everybody was just like in shock. They was like, yo, what the fuck is this?
They were really freaked out by the hair. I remember that. Yeah. They used to talk so much shit about Chugoy because he had the most unique haircut out of all of them.
Yeah.
He had like twists.
It was like the Gumby, but it
had twists.
It was like layered, right?
Yes, exactly.
And it was faded. It was great. It was like a Big Daddy Kane with like a Gumby and twists. It was insane.
Yeah. So the first song they performed, it was 3. They came on stage and they had like maybe 3 of their homies that they hang out with was on stage with them. The first song they performed was Jennifer.
Notions, soothe the mood. Dove was lost in De La Heaven. Screen Plug 2, did the do. Jennifer, oh Jenny.
So you know how that song goes.
Yeah.
It's like da-dun, da-dun, da-dun. It was so non-hip hop that the crowd was just like, they was like wondering, well, what the fuck is this? They was just like looking around. And then after they finished performing it, they was like, you know what? Y'all not ready for this yet. Then they went into Potholes in My Lawn.
Potholes in My Lawn.
And then that was even weird. So, but everybody was feeling the beat a little bit. They was like, all right, this is all right. But it wasn't like huge. Like, so next they did Plug Tunings. So that's the song that everybody knew and they was waiting for. And they did their thing, but that crowd was not feeling De La Soul when they first saw them.
Damn.
But I was just like, yo, I was so amazed. I was just like, after that concert, I went to the record store every week asking, yo, you got that new De La Soul record? You got the new De La Soul record? And it was just like fucking, they blew my mind.
Yeah, it was
so different, man.
It was so different at the time. I can only compare it to like what Tyler the Creator was for maybe this new generation.
Yeah.
Except that music is to me way more groundbreaking than Tyler the Creator.
Yeah.
It's funny, like in my dreams, my dream is that when their catalog releases on March 3rd, is it 3rd?
Yeah.
My dream is that the youth will like be affected by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's been how many years since anyone's had access to this, like the public?
Dude, man.
15?
Around there, yeah.
15, 10 years.
You know what?
What, and you can't buy their shit anywhere?
It's
I
only
mean, you can buy the
CDs.
CDs, but you can't. It was never available to stream.
It's not streamed,
But you
even
know what?
MP3s, right?
De La Soul, they did one day. They decided to put the music out themselves for one day. So if you had access, you could download all them albums.
Oh, really?
They did it illegally, yeah, and got away with it. They only did it for that one day.
Yeah,
After
because
that, they took it down.
you couldn't even buy the MP3s.
No,
That's what I'm saying. Damn, that's
Nah.
crazy.
Would you say that was like the first rap group that was like party rocking? Like, what was their style? Because I'm so like ignorant to De La
Yeah.
Soul's catalog.
No, so you gotta
first
understand, like,
it wasn't even party rocking.
It was not. It was the opposite
that's
of party
that's
rock.
the feel I got
Okay,
listening
so
to their music.
The first
for
time I've ever
time.
heard from De La Soul was in 2005. I had 2004, 2005. I got NCAA football. It's a video game, and Me, Myself, and I is the opening credit song. So that was my introduction to them. And then outside of that, I knew them because they had a Nike shoe.
You got to understand, every song in the 80s, right, is about braggadocious rap.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about how much money they have, how many bitches they got,
like
what car they
cars they
drive in.
driving, yeah.
And then here they come with Me, Myself, and I, proud of who I am.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're coming from like,
Talk about daisies.
yeah, daisies. Daisy's another metaphor for pussy, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, so the Daisy cartoon, the yellow shit, that's
Yeah.
That's all like pussy. Yeah, it's like the
dude,
Daisy.
that's a Nike shoes, and they go like the resale value for their shoes is crazy, but it's literally it has those daisies all over the place.
But the great thing is, like, when you listen to music now, it's so like lurid. Like they're just cursing. They're talking about pussy, dick. You know,
popping pills and shit.
Popping pills. It's like you needed code words back in the day.
Right.
Like that was the dope shit. Is like you couldn't say it out loud, so you had to be creative. And every city had their own creative way of saying gun, saying drugs,
Right.
saying pussy, saying whatever. And it's like now there's no code words for really anything.
They just say it.
They just say it. You know what I'm saying? Even
Yeah.
like R&B songs, like it was a little bit more descriptive. It was a little bit more like, you know what I mean? Like Taste Your Love, Horace Brown, you know? It was like Go Downtown. You know what I'm saying? There was all these things, you know? Like, I mean, I remember the most shocking song at the time that was like, oh my God, like you're not listening to this. And I was in junior high, I think. Was Color Me Bad, I Want to Sex You Up.
Yeah.
That was like, there was like, oh, we don't know if we can play this on the radio.
Yeah.
And like, there was the first time like girls in my school couldn't buy the single. like their parents would have let them buy I Want to Sex You Up.
Yeah.
Like you can't listen to that shit.
Yeah.
That was like, because it was so out there. It was like, I Want to Sex You Up.
Yeah.
When everything else was just more suggestive.
Yeah.
But that was De La Soul, like.
I was asking because my introduction to them, I feel like, was probably Saturday.
Yeah.
So like that was like more party, you know what I mean? And then I heard
Like a
stuff,
fun, yeah.
And then I heard their catalog, most of the catalog later, and I was like, okay, there's more to it. But that always stuck out to me, like that like party aspect of it. Like they had like great records like that. I love that shit.
But it's like it actually goes back to the Jungle Brothers, like really that black is black is black
Yeah.
is black. They were actually like talking about just being proud to be black.
Yeah.
And it was like a more positive black representation of an educated black man, educated black women who weren't living for just money and like material items and shit. They were talking about real things in life.
Yeah.
That's really the whole native tongues. It was just like more, it was this different representation. Like Moma and I talk about this thing. Moma always brings up that there was a meeting of these record executives in like the 90s or like, yeah, I think it was in the 90s when they were like, look, there's too much black consciousness going on and we need to stop this shit. So there was like literally these like record executives in a room, like some Illuminati shit. And that's when they were like pushing more gangster rap.
I heard of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you had like The Chronic.
Yeah.
And you had like
Dark.
all this gangster rap come back
Dark.
to like kind of keep polluting the minds of like black inner city kids and neighborhoods.
I wonder if that's why Tupac
And-
went from.
You think that's why the native tongue broke up? Now that we talk about
No, but
this
they
shit?
talk about they keep Moma mentions this a lot, and we have this conversation. And actually, Common talked about it with "I Used to Love Her," right?
Mm-hmm.
He talks about how hip hop started, and they started getting educated, and then by the third verse, he was saying that it went to gangster rap. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so like this I don't know if there's any truth to this.
I mean, it sounds like it.
But it was like literally after that was a turning point, and everything just kind of stayed gangster, and it's like now it's just all we hear.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's a question, but that was a really amazing time for hip hop because it was actually cool to be educated, and it was cool to be Muslim, and it was like, and being a Korean American, right? I was like learning about black culture.
Yeah,
I was
because you also had like Brand Nubian.
Right, I learned about Muslims.
Ed's Clan.
I was learning so much about black history.
Even KMD.
Yeah. I was just learning about black history. I learned so much from the 90s hip hop.
Yeah.
And how to carry myself, even just like respectful. Like it was all the songs about respecting women, right?
Yeah.
It was just kind of like when you think about it, it's such a 180 from
Yo, the
what
Jungle
music
Brothers
is
even
right
had
now.
a song called Black Women.
Yeah. It was just such a different fucking time.
Well, maybe there is truth to that because for it to turn that quickly into like what it became, it's kind of crazy to go from
Literally like 3 years.
yeah, like we're talking about a really short span of time because the Chronic came out in what 93,
92.
92.
And dude, you had like Queen Latifah, Ladies First.
Yeah,
UNITY.
UNITY.
Yeah.
Moni Love was killing it
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like it was a very different era of hip hop, but
Yeah.
it just completely fucking changed.
and the gear was crazy. Like the African medallions. I used to love
Yeah.
that stuff, man. Like the dashikis, the dreads. Damn, man. Like
But-
that was the first time, not to cut you off, that was the first time I think that my grandparents, they were cool with me listening to hip hop because they were very conscious. Like they were like big hippies. Like they were very into like peace and love. And like, obviously I couldn't listen to like the NWAs, the DJ Quicks, like the things that I had access to. But when like, you know, Tribe, De La would be on the TV, like the Fugees, like they were kind of okay with that. Like, oh, that's not a horrible message. You can listen to that. So like that kind of always stuck out to me. And like, you know, obviously being a grown man now, I see why. But at the time, I didn't understand the difference.
And I think the strength behind that whole movement was the music was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like undeniable because it's like we've had conscious rap before, but the music wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? But this music was good. It was like, and it was groundbreaking the way they sampled and the lyrics, the way they were rhyming.
Yeah.
And the voices were so good. Like Trugoy's voice was just so recognizable. To me, he's one of the greatest voices in hip hop.
Yeah.
You know, he's up there with Q-Tip, Fife. Like, it was just so unique at the time how everyone sounded.
Where were they from in New York?
They're from Long Island.
Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was like another thing. We are just like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
there was no rappers. Well,
You had EPMD, but
yeah.
that was some gangster shit,
Yeah.
you know? But it was like you saw this other side of hip hop that really represented my generation.
Yeah.
Where we weren't drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? We didn't want to be drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't identify with the drug deal rap. Like we still fuck with it, but it's like it didn't speak to us. It didn't represent us.
Yeah.
and then like De La Soul was even embraced by like the hardcore hip hop performers at the time, like KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Run DMC. They was like loving Run. They was loving De La Soul. And they knew that was the future. They even said it. They was like, yo, this is some different shit. And it sounds really good. So
yeah. To me, it's a shame that they, De La went through this whole battle to get their music out.
Yeah.
And right at the cusp of when their music's going to get released, Trugoy passes away.
Damn.
It's just so bittersweet.
And you know what? They was working on a new album with Prince Paul. So I'm pretty sure that's going to come out soon. Or
that's what I guess that's why Trugoy wasn't at the Grammys when at that performance.
Well, you know what? Yeah, he was sick.
Right.
He was in the hospital.
And then he passed.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's really sad. I can't speak more highly, and I really urge everyone when their music gets released on streaming platforms to listen.
Please do it.
To the first 3 albums.
Yeah.
It's just so the first 2 definitely, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so groundbreaking. It's like, when I think about that era and that music, I would not be like the person I am today if it wasn't for De La Soul. They actually like, they almost raised me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like from junior high to high school, it's like I learned so fucking much from them and that music.
Yo, you know what? If y'all get a chance, y'all should go on YouTube. There's like a documentary that De La Soul put out, and it was like kind of a promo package for 3 Feet High Rising, and they talk about how they got together, how they put the album together, and they even go through like the samples they use, and it was like it's only 6 minutes long, but it tells you everything about them.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, Trugoy.
Yeah, man. 2017, I actually, which is crazy, thinking about it now, I actually got a chance to like kick it with them and hang it with Zach Gibman.
Oh yeah.
They were in town for Life is Beautiful.
Oh wow.
And they were staying at the Mandarin Oriental. They were staying at the Mandarin Oriental, and we went from there to the fairgrounds on their tour bus. Got carted in, and I got to watch their whole performance. Man, it was nasty.
Yo, they're really.
You know, I actually got a chance to meet them.
The performance was nasty.
Yeah.
They performed at Instant Coins. It was a spot that used to be in Vegas.
Downtown.
Yeah, shout out to DJ 88. I haven't seen her in a minute, but
Bree,
she knew them and she introduced me to them, and I was just like, oh, I couldn't even believe it.
Yeah.
And I even was able to take a picture with them, and it was just like. Oh.
And then I'll never forget, the crowd went crazy because they did their thing. They went off stage. The Gorillas came out, did their thing, and then they came back and did Feel Good Inc. together. It was the crowd was like losing their shit.
Oh my god!
When Feel Good Inc. came on, and at the beginning where he like yells,
Trugoy killed that shit.
You know what? Crooked. We saw them at the opening of Marquee.
Yeah,
and they performed.
They were good there too.
Yeah,
they were bananas.
Yeah,
it's just so dope to see like your heroes perform.
Yeah,
and I think I briefly met them, and they were like the coolest motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I wish. Damn, man. I'm really kind of heartbroken about that.
And it's like it's sad because you would never get to see them perform again in concert because I don't think Pod's gonna continue.
I would just.
Pods and Maceo,
I would have loved for Trugoy to see the reaction. Yeah. I just feel for some reason, someone's in my gut. I feel like the release of their music is gonna affect culture right now. I'm probably just dreaming. I'm probably just like hoping.
You know what? People definitely gonna be checking them out when the release when these albums drop. They're gonna definitely check it out,
dude. I'm hoping like 4 or 5 songs from their 2 albums, like just go on TikTok and go viral.
I want all 6 of these albums to chart in the top 10.
I'm telling you, yo, what's your all time favorite De La Soul song?
Dude,
give me your top 3.
Oh man,
think of your top 3, just one.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it.
Buddy, the remix.
I won't lie, I love BUDDY, cause I never let it walk on by.
One of my favorites. Man. It's so many, man. But definitely Buddy's like one of my favorite De La Soul songs because it had them, the Jungle Brothers, and Tropical Quest.
Right.
I don't want to say the obvious. I want to say Me, Myself, and I, even though I love that song, but
Just me, myself, and I.
The one song that always stuck out to me, like I said, man, whenever I think of De La Soul, it's got to be Saturday.
Saturday, it's a Saturday, it's a Saturday, it's a Saturday.
Just because it's like, it has like a disco feel. So it's like really, really danceable. I love that song, man. And then when I finally actually started DJing, that was like a record that I just always loved spinning.
They were so ahead of their time because they were bringing that roller skate rink energy.
Yeah.
And they even called it like a roller skate rink ballad or jam. Yeah. It was just like they were just so ahead of their time. I can't even speak. My favorite song from them is probably Say No Go. Where they sampled Hall & Oates. Another one, and I think Never, this was one of your favorites too. It was Oodles and O's, right?
Oodles and oodles and O's and oodles and oodles and oodles and O's. You know, they give us
Oh yes,
Oodles and O's.
Oodles and O's, yes.
The
Definitely.
first song off of the first album.
the second album.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
De La Soul Is
It was
Dead.
the first song from the second album, and it just started the way it started. It was just like, yo, this.
You know
shit
what?
is
Biddy's in the
fucking crazy.
Biddy's in the BK
I
Lounge.
love that song.
spotted in the mist with the BK logo. What we said, well, what do you know? This chick thought I was trying to play fly.
Which is an amazing song.
Yes.
Which is a song of the perspective from each member of the group.
Yes.
Like dealing with some bullshit at Burger King.
Yeah.
So like one of them is like a
girl?
fan fanning out on Trugoy. Another one is Pastanus working at Burger King, dealing with like some bitchy customer. It's kind of genius because
Yeah.
like no one would have ever made a song about that.
I know. And IMB.
I am IB.
Yes.
That is to me one of the, I would put it in one of the top 10 production hip hop songs of all time.
Wow.
You know what's
And
so
wait.
dope about it? If you listen to that album, it starts off with like an instrumental of it before they go into the song. Like on the fifth song, you just hear the horns, dun, 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 dun. And then it comes back like 4 songs later, and then they start rapping over it.
Like literally, the thought and the time it must have taken to make the song, they literally have every rapper in hip hop singing the chorus, and then it's just like it's just the most like layered, musically ingenious
They got
track I've ever heard in my life.
Q-Tip says something. They got Busta Rhymes to say something.
Everything. There's just certain songs on that album that are like ingeniously produced.
Yeah.
Another one is Ego Trippin'.
Give me mine, cause I'm heavy when I weigh it. Watch the way I say it. Ego trip.
Yeah. Oh,
Ego
yeah.
Trippin' is insane.
Yeah.
Ego Trippin' is insane. Break of Dawn is insane. Break of Dawn is crazy.
Yeah.
There's just
You know what? My shit was the area, and then one with the Japanese dude rapping.
ビートに乗せた歌詞これ一番そう都市銀融詩人グルーヴ
Oh yeah. They had an interlude with a Japanese guy rapping.
That was
And
fucking.
it
yeah.
blew everyone's mind because
Yeah.
no one knew like Asians could rap, or there was
Yeah.
like rap. There was even rap existed like outside of
It's
the US.
Long Island Wildin'.
Yeah, Long Island.
That was,
Wild.
oh man.
But anyway, please check out De La Soul.
Yeah.
Please check
That
out
was dope.
all three, at
was
least
amazing.
all 3 albums, the first 3 albums. 3 Feet High and Rising, De La Soul Is Dead, and Balloon Mind State.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of Stakes Is High?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. Not really. So Stakes Is High.
It sucks, man. I mean,
It doesn't
there was
suck.
There were songs I liked, but it just didn't have the same energy.
I remember
because-
that video.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I remember from Stakes Is High.
Stakes Is
You know
High.
what? Because Prince Paul didn't do production on that album. It was them.
It was,
They
but
did,
it was
and
Jay
they did
Dilla.
Jay
Jay
Dilla.
Dilla.
Another reason the Tribe Called Quest 4th album was kind of whack because of Jay Dilla. I can't say
It's
that.
weird. It's weird. There's, you know what? There's a generation after us, or probably after me, that loves Jay Dilla.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my generation loved
Yeah.
it.
Your generation loves Jay Dilla,
Yeah,
but
don't
our
it?
generation, it just like was kind of the change.
It was like Dilla
Yeah.
and High Tech, like them
yeah.
two.
Yeah, but that being said, rest in peace, Trugoy.
Yeah, man.
And I'm so glad De La is coming out and dropping their
I can't
their
wait, man.
catalog. I'm gonna be pushing that like crazy.
Yeah.
like
So-
as if you're the artist.
So, just as a reminder, a couple reminders, we are going to be taking a break in March. So there aren't going to be any new episodes. We might drop a bonus episode on YouTube here and there
Yeah.
in March, but we'll see you on April 5th.
April 5th, Wednesday.
And we're going to come out swinging. So
Yeah.
trust that. Also,
watch out.
yeah. Also, we're going to be in South by Southwest.
Yes.
So come check for us if you're going to be in the Austin area, in Austin, Texas. We're having an event on March 16th.
Yes,
Thursday.
On
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yep.
It's gonna be kind of like a day event or evening event. We're gonna it starts around 6 p.m. We're gonna do live podcasts where we interview motherfuckers.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have like a bunch of guest DJs there. And then the night's just gonna continue on to like an after party at like 10 o'clock, and we're gonna spin and we're just gonna have a fucking good time. Like
Yeah.
last year was fucking fun as fuck.
That shit was super fun.
Yeah, and we got a lot of good content, like interviewing motherfuckers.
Yeah, we did.
But yeah, definitely come out to check us. And if there's any homies in town song. If y'all want to spin, just give us a heads up.
Let us
And
know
we'll
what's
put
good.
you on. Yeah, we'll put you on the lineup and just come through and hang out.
Yeah.
And let's
March 16th, Tipsy
Yeah.
Alchemist.
just have some fun, man. Let's just
Yeah.
Yeah.
let's
Looking
do
forward
it up.
to it.
And that being said, we'll see you in April.
Yes,
All right, y'all?
sir.
April 5th.
All right,
Peace.
y'all. Peace.
Peace.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.